Nothing like a nice cup of tea. I was thinking what to talk about today. I've always got a lot on my mind, and I think I talk about Bernard Madoff and his Ponzi scheme. People don't really truly understand the man and what really happened. But being empathetic, I do understand. So Madoff, he never intended it to get so big. I say big, of course, but it was gigantic at the end, wasn't it? And so many people lost everything that they had because of greed, really. Let's see. 65 billion wiped out. Can you imagine? And people who thought they'd never had to work again, they invested their money with Madoff, and people were coming up to him and begging him to accept their money. That's how bad it became. Yeah, he started off small. He never envisaged it would go out of control like that. He thought of making a decent amount of money. I don't know, millions? But then as he carried on, it just got bigger and bigger. And he couldn't stop it, of course, because the moment he tried to stop it, people would know the truth. And he would be in prison. So there's that fear of going to prison. But also, as he's there and he's making all that money, greed steps in as well. So there's these various feelings of fear of being caught and greed, which says, well, buy another house. Why go and eat at that cheap place over there? Why not go to the best, the Ritz? These two different feelings. And you can be sure that he never ever told anyone about it, including his family, his sons and his wife. Completely oblivious to it. You see, someone who's in that situation, they want the respect of their family when people are cheating like that. They don't tell those people close to them because they know the chances are their sons and their wives will talk, and once you tell someone, the secret is out. You only have to tell one person and it's no longer a secret. You can't say to him, don't tell anyone now, keep it to yourself. It doesn't work that way. And also his sons and his wife, you know, it takes a certain person who can build something like that and still keep a calm exterior in front of people, knowing that he's using their money, abusing their money, squandering it away. And these people are going to eventually lose everything. He knows this. So it takes a certain type of mind, and not anyone can do that sort of thing. I couldn't do it. And I'm sure his wife and sons couldn't do it. In fact, one of them was so depressed by the whole thing that people thought he was guilty, he committed suicide soon afterwards. But do they have to commit suicide to prove that they're innocent? I say no. Now you can be sure that he was scared of stopping it because he didn't want to go to prison. But greed stepped in and said, well, let's enjoy it as well. He knew he couldn't pay the people back. So just carry on the ride and see where it goes. And as he said at the end, he was glad he got caught because he wouldn't have to worry anymore. You can believe it. Every day he worried about them finding out the truth. And you hear that of a lot of people who've been chased by the police. You know, fugitives, they've escaped from prison. They will say at the end when they're caught, thank goodness, you can't believe every day I was in fear that I'm going to be caught. And now I'm caught, there's no more fear. He wasn't a bad man. He was simply a man who wanted a better life and was prepared to cheat. You know, a person who's truly bad, I suppose, you could say that they wouldn't feel guilty about what they're doing. No guilt at all. They could live their life every day and not worry about being caught by the police, not worried about people finding out. But even that sort of person wouldn't tell those people closest to them what's going on because they know Once you tell, the secret is out. You can never say to a person, now don't tell anyone else, because if you've got any intelligence at all, you know they're going to tell someone else and say the same thing. Now don't you tell anyone, he told me this. In times like this, a good cup of tea. Oh, right, I've got the wrong page. And it's not all about the money, of course. A lot of people who go after money, they see themselves as losers, and they don't want to be a loser. I think we all do today. To be a success, we look at a person's bank account, don't we? Of course, in truth, rich people don't have much money in the bank at all, because money in the bank is not working for itself. All the money is invested normally. And when someone is kidnapped, a rich person's son, for instance, is kidnapped, the kidnappers will ask for a lot of money, and they're surprised when they say, when the man will tell them, I can't put my hands on that sort of money, just like that. And it's true, they can't, because it's all invested, and quite often these investments you can't just pull out just like that. You might invest for a year or so. You know, the reason why he never got caught earlier with his Ponzi scheme was because the returns on the invested money, the so-called invested money, the so-called invested returns, was reasonable. So even investors invested with him. Can you imagine? Professional investors invested money from their clients with him, because they knew that he was a steady bet. They didn't know how he did it, but his money always went up. He always managed to get enough money to every month to pay off everyone. Of course, it didn't literally get paid off. Most people would say, well, reinvest it. That's what happens with Ponzi schemes. People don't realise, because they're thinking their money is being reinvested when it's not. It's simply going on the next expensive meal, or car, or a house, or a motor launch or something. And just a reminder, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. But what helped him was the fact that his two sons were working in their own office below his, and they were dealing with stocks and shares. They wasn't making so much money, of course, but they were dealing with stocks and shares, and they had a lot of people working there at computers. So when he wanted to show potential clients that he really was in the business of stocks and shares, he would just take them for a walk around the office of his sons, which was nothing to do with his business. It was a totally different business, but no one realized that. And who would, when you see that? All these people on phones buying and selling shares, you think it's part of him, but it's not. He was very lucky there. And also, you've got to remember, the man was a Jew. Jews are extremely intelligent when it comes to business. They always make it to the top, whether it's as a crook like him or following the law. They normally make it to the top. And when I say following the law, quite often they're cheating with the taxes and things like that, if you could call it cheating. As one of my rich Jewish friends told me, he said, if I didn't cheat the tax, he said, I wouldn't have all this wonderful lifestyle of mine. And it's true, the taxes are huge on businesses quite often. So, believe you me, his family, his two sons and his mother, completely innocent when it comes to knowing about what he was up to. And he didn't realise it was going to grow so big. But it grew big because people are greedy. And people want, they don't like to bet. Because with a bet, you never know if you're going to lose the money. They want a certainty, and he was offering them certainties. He was saying, I can give you this return every month. They didn't know how he done it, but they accepted that he could do it. He could do what others can't do. You know, the mere fact that he could bring back profit every month, I would have seen through that, I think. I know it's easy to say it in retrospect, but I don't believe in dices falling 666 every time. Of course, he's dead and gone now. And by the time they did arrest him and put him in prison, he was an old man, so he needed a rest, so to speak. And I'm sure it wasn't a bad prison he went to. He might have even went to an open prison, being so old as he was. And open prisons are pretty easygoing. They're so good, some of those open prisons, they have to kick them out. They don't want to leave at the end, some of these prisoners. Even though they come from a good life, they're enjoying it so much, the open prison. They say, no, we're okay. No, you've got to go. It's the end. It's your time. You have to go. When it comes to business, there are 3 rules that you must always follow. And that is, you invest in 3 different businesses. So if one collapses, which it often does, you've still got the other 2. And if 2 collapse, which can happen occasionally, you've still got 1 to rebuild the whole thing again. But a lot of these people with these Ponzi schemes, they get so greedy and think it's so safe over the years that they invest every penny, and that's where they've gone wrong. And that's why a lot of people are now poor, because of it.